Welcome to the Interesting Podcast, episode number 73. This episode is the delightful Clare Stribling. This episode's long overdue. I have no clue why it took me so long to have her on, but here it is, guys. You are not prepared for the amount of bouncing around that we do in this chat. We talk about Chicago, which is where she currently is, and a bunch of misconceptions, and a bunch of things that go on over there. We talk about the bean. We talk about that weird wall exhibit in Millennium Park, which if you've been there, you know exactly what I'm talking about. And then somehow we get on the subject of pythons in the Everglades. So that's a thing. And then we talk about how we actually met at Celebration last year. And we talk about how she is a bartender from time to time. And bartending has always fascinated me because it's like your real-life potion maker. Pretty cool, man. We also talk about her favorite Star Wars character of all time, Salacious B. Crumb. Great pick. And we talk about how she got into podcasting. You know, we cover the Imperial Senate podcast, also databank discussions. So without further ado, let's get into it. The Interesting Podcast, episode number 73 with Clare Stribling. Theme song time. Hello?
Ooh, oh my gosh. Hello, can you hear me?
I can, and what sounded like a guitar riff.
It was I accidentally like flicked the stand that my microphone is on, and it was just going all boing, but we're good.
Well, now you know if you're ever going to start a rock podcast, just flick your mic stand.
Yes, it'd be so...
Yeah, there we go.
Yeah.
Welcome to the Interesting Podcast with Claire.
It'd be so good.
It sounds awesome on my side.
I'm glad it sounds awesome. Every time I do it sometimes during recording podcasts, and I get so nervous because I'm like, crap, I have to edit that out now. Oh, no.
Just leave it. It can be like a tally mark. Be like, how many times is Claire going to hit the stand? And it could be like a game you play with your listeners.
That'd be so good.
Yeah.
It's like that, and how many times does Claire find herself unable to sit still and make squeaky noises with a chair?
Oh, man. I'm going to call her out. Savannah cannot sit still at all. She's always doing something. But she's worked it out to where she can like mute her mic and then turns it back on. I'm like, got oddly silent for a minute. So.
Absolutely no squeaks whatsoever.
None. I'm less meticulous. Well, yeah, I'll just kind of figure it out. Like Prequel Defense Force, I was like, I'm taking 0 notes. I'm just letting you know right now. And she went crazy.
What's happening's gonna happen.
Yeah, she was not for it. So
that's so funny.
She's the exact opposite because she has like pages and pages. Like, oh, we're gonna talk about this and blah blah. I'm like, I'm not gonna look at it. Just you talk and then I'll respond. I'm like, all right, cool. So when I got to drive for the episode 3 2-parter, it was very stressful for her.
I can imagine. I'm a notes person, so I would just be there like, what's gonna happen? It's gonna fall off the rails and the sky's gonna fall.
Exactly. So it's uncharted territory.
What am I supposed to do with this?
Exactly. And I got to hide behind the Dorky Diva banner. I was like, I'm not the Dorky Diva. Ha-ha! No, disregard all the signs. But it's been cool.
So funny.
It's been cool. How's your day going?
Not too bad, man. It's been a good day. I've been watching Resistance. I watched it.
Ooh, how is it? I'm not editing that out. That's what I'm talking about. Normally I would, but I'm not gonna. How is it so far?
Oh my gosh, it made me so unbelievably happy and nostalgic. I was just so bubbly and I was like doing awkward little happy dances in my chair, and I tweeted this out. Like, there's 3 episodes on the Disney Now app right now.
Wow.
And in between 2 and 3, I was so just like amped and excited about it that I had to like go to the gym and like run 5 million miles and and lift heavy things, being like, "This is awesome!"
That's right.
So,
Resistance! Actual
it was
resistance against gravity. Just throwing things.
exactly.
Dude.
So that was good. I am very pleased.
Good.
I'm very excited.
Good. I'm excited. I was not at first, but then the like I think 3 or 4 minute video that came out maybe like 2 weeks ago, and I was like, all right, I am 100% in. I don't know what it was that sucked me in, but I'm for it. I'm for it. So it's an interesting time period they chose. So I'm excited to see where it goes.
I am too, and I've been just very, I kind of started psyching myself out about this show just with everybody being like, this is geared to super young audiences. This is geared for younger audiences. And then I watched it, and I will spoil nothing about the episode since you haven't seen it, I promise. But I watched it, and I'm like, this is for everybody. What are you talking about? Whole family needs to watch this. So I'm thinking like, oh, this is going to be like so cheesy, like way, way out of my realm of things I enjoy. But it was so much fun and hilarious, and I love everybody. I'm excited.
Sweet. I'm pumped about it. I remember before the Awakening book, no, it was from a certain point of view, Greg Rucka wrote a story, and it was about essentially like the ground crew for the pilots that were at the Battle of Yavin. And it gave me a whole different lens of like, these are the mechanics who are in charge of each ship and making sure it runs. So when the pilot gets in, they go fly out. And I'd never thought about that particular like point of view, which makes sense.
Yeah.
And so it's been cool to see like the working man in the Star Wars universe. And maybe that's what got me really excited, because I started thinking about that context for Resistance and like their mechanics that are like passing time by racing. So I'm like,
exactly.
I could be into this. I could very much be into this.
I love that. Well, I loved that story a lot from a certain point of view.
Yeah.
And I loved I also really love just, as you said, thinking about like, we always get the pilot and the spy and, the senators and whatever. We always get the hero characters. But like, what about the like, who's tuning up the medical droids over there? Who's like, right? When they, in Bloodline, when Leia, I love that novel so much. But when in Bloodline, when they talked about like blood burn, and you actually saw like a human doctor, I was like, what is going on?
Right.
Where have you been?
You have these here?
Like, right? I thought it was all Bacta and droids. Oh my gosh, a real person.
Right. You're right. You're right. I'm excited to see Bloodburn pop up in other places, because it has. And it's interesting. Now we have medical diagnosis for things.
Exactly. Oh my gosh.
I'm into it.
Now we can have our ER style drama with on the Disney streaming app.
That's right. There's a color for everything. They'll get to it. But I'm pumped about it. I'm pumped about it. New aliens. I'm hardcore into aliens. So anytime there's more, I'm like, I'm into this. And in the clip that Bobby Moynihan shared with his character and the other like Flix is his name. They're like owl looking. Yeah, dude, I'm so into Flix. I was like, it's like a weird spindly owl, and I'm here.
It's like, it's so adorable. They're both just like as a unit too. I enjoyed the execution and their banter, and I really, really loved when I saw it, like the owl step out. I was like, what are you doing, man?
Yeah, right. Owls aren't normally shaped like that.
Right.
And he's got goggles. Yep, I'm for it.
Oh my god.
Dude, that's so cool.
Put goggles on any animal-looking thing, and I'm in. You put goggles on Chewie. I was like doing backflips. Put goggles on an owl. Great.
Yes,
I'm here for it.
That's what it is. We've just discovered another call sign for Star Wars. It's like, just put goggles on it. That's spacey. That'll count.
Absolutely.
Considered agreeably. But so you are in Chicago?
Yes, I'm in the Chicago suburbs, technically. I feel like if I say Chicago, somebody will, smack me with the Italian beef on the street and be like, what are you doing? No, you're not. But, but yes, I am in the Chicago area, so it's not a bad place to be.
Sure. I've been to Chicago once. I'm not a fan of cities.
No, not a city person.
I lived on a farm before moving to Florida. And so I like space and things. And Chicago is a crazy big, busy, very hard to find parking city.
Oh my God. That is an understatement if I've ever heard one. Holy cow.
Yep.
Like, oh, you want to sell your liver?
Yeah, right.
Then you can find a parking space.
That's right. And even then, you're only going to get it for 10 minutes. So
Exactly.
good luck. I went and saw the Bean, and I was like, first off, we got to find this thing. And then it was much harder to find parking under $30. I was like, I just want to walk over there and park.
Definitely. Especially being like in Millennium Park and being right by like the Art Institute and right on like Michigan Avenue. That's a very, very busy spot. But you gotta see the Bean when you come to Chicago.
Right?
It's the Bean.
It's the Bean. Yeah, I totally agree. It's a neat little thing for anyone who hasn't seen the Bean. It's like I don't have the words.
It's a bean.
It's a bean. Yeah, it's a mirror bean.
It's a mirror bean.
That looks crazy underneath it when you look up.
No, it totally does.
So that's kind of neat. And then, okay, so there's that exhibit, I guess you would call it, with the screen and the faces and the fountain thing.
Oh my Lord!
What is that? What is going on there? Because I don't like it.
I don't either. Every time I see it, you gotta laugh so you don't cry. It's so creepy looking. Because if you've never been there before, next to the Bean in Millennium Park, there's this big like fountain kind of thing. There are these two giant columns, these like rectangular columns, and they project different these pillars, and they project faces on it. They're like there's faces on them, and they're spitting water out at you.
It's so
literally
weird.
It's just like a video of a person who's like making a weird like O shape with their mouth, and the water comes out of their mouth. And then there's like children playing in the fountain and splashing around. Like, you do realize that they are spitting on you. That's disgusting. It doesn't sit right with me either. So I'm glad that you thought so.
Yeah, I don't like it. That's one
faces
thing you'll find
change.
here. Yeah, they do. And they always start out kind of weird. They're like just staring off into space. You're like, what is going on? And then, they're just getting ready to spit water on the pup. I don't understand.
Yeah, and I think you can like apply to be a face. Like
Really?
You can. Yeah, they change them all the time. I don't think I've ever seen two different faces or two of the same face up there. But it's very, very interesting, isn't it?
You know what? I'm just gonna try to be in that fountain now. I have a new goal in life.
Be a face. Be a face fountain.
Do they have like a schedule maybe to make sure that you're there when your face pops up? Probably not.
No, probably not.
That's half the people that are hanging out in Millennium Park looking at this are just waiting to see their face in it. That'd be nice. It's like I think today's the day, Carl. No, it's not. Is it always going? Is it like 24/7? Or is it like only during certain hours?
When the weather's nice, I'm pretty sure it runs like all night and all day. But now that it's starting to get a little chilly up here, pretty soon they're going to be shutting that down, I think. So everything doesn't freeze over.
Oh, yeah, you don't want those people frozen. Because what if it gets stuck on like a bad face?
Oh my God, like an about to sneeze face.
Yes, exactly, like mid-spit.
Mid-spit.
Not good. Not good. Nobody wants to be that guy.
No, definitely not. Definitely not.
So I'm assuming you like Chicago, big city. So you're a fan of cities and things?
I am a fan of big cities. I love Chicago. It's been my home most of my life. And
fair.
It's nice to be so close to so much like theater and so much, so many sports and like if that's your cup of tea and all this crazy delicious food, and it's a cool place. It's a cool place to have grown up next to. I'm fond of it for sure.
It's probably better that you are just outside of it so you can go into the madness and then come out for a breath.
Exactly.
Yeah, I see what you're doing here.
Yeah, it gets pretty crazy out there. My brother, I don't know, he lives pretty close to Wrigley Field, which if you've ever been near Wrigley, it's just all these young people in crappy apartments with bars and mayhem going on all of the time, especially when there's a Cubs game. It's just like the streets are completely flooded with people, and it's just crazy madness all the time. I don't know how anybody can live near Wrigley and get any sleep, but but it's okay, if you have an infinite amount of energy, then it's the perfect place to be, really.
That's right. Or if you can sleep through a fire. Yeah,
Definitely.
The
I cannot do
prerequisites.
that.
There are few that can. That's crazy,
and
though.
those who can are
Dead.
pretty unfortunate. Yes.
Yes. So what are, as someone who is not from there and only been once, what are some common misconceptions of Chicago? Let's get to the truth of it.
Ooh, some misconceptions about Chicago. Let's see here. Well, Chicago, it is a very dangerous place. Do not get us wrong. But but it really is, I don't want to say it's contained, because there's always going to be random,
of course,
violent acts everywhere.
Without
It's just going to happen.
Exactly.
Yes. But the majority of the scary zone is located far from what you'll be experiencing at Star Wars Celebration Chicago if you decide to come visit us and grace our beautiful city.
Yeah,
You'll be away from it.
That's good.
You're fine
Good to
walking
know.
around. You'll be okay. I promise you're not going to get shot.
That's right, for 3 miles. But once you go past the wall, you're on your own.
No, I've had some scary situations driving into the city for things, and then you accidentally take the wrong exit, and then you're like, "Oh crap! Oh god! Oh god! How do I get out of this?" There's some scary places, but you will not be taken to those places if you stick to the fun route. I promise you'll be fine.
Yeah. Have you? You had to. I'm going to ask a bunch of really dumb questions at first, because these are things that I think of when I think of Chicago. Have you seen the river dyed green for St. Patrick's Day?
Yes.
Because that's something I've always wanted to see. I don't know why I'm really into it, but I've always I want to see that.
There's a part of me that really loves it, and just because it's so weird. And then there's a part of me that I'm not entirely sure what they dye it with. I probably should learn that. And there's me that's like, I really hope that the fishies are okay.
What fish?
What fish, exactly.
Oh, man. How long does it last?
It lasts a while. Actually, if you're coming up for Celebration, it'll still have a green tint to it.
Oh, sweet.
Early April. Yeah, so it won't be as green as it is in March, but it'll still be greenish.
Wow.
So you're all good.
That's insane. Yeah. I was like, maybe for a few hours, because it'll just kind of go, and then it's gone because water moves. But geez, it's still greenish a month later. It's crazy.
Yeah, it still keeps that tint. So wow. I don't know what weird voodoo magic goes into dyeing that lake green, but it lasts. It lasts a while.
That is nuts. How long does it take to do it? Because I've seen videos of boats going back and forth and just dumping bio waste and changing the colors.
Our fish have 3 eyes.
Yeah, it's just ooze from Ninja Turtles.
But yeah, it takes a while. It takes I'm not entirely sure how long it does take them, but they do have to go up and down the river quite a bit with their crazy goo. It takes hours, a couple hours, as far as I have seen.
Sure, more than I know.
But yeah, that's right. My guess is maybe a little bit more educated, but not that much. So don't take my word as law.
Yeah, we're just guessing here.
Yeah, basically.
That's how I go through life. I don't know. It might make sense
probably.
in the end. Yeah, as long as we don't die, we're good.
Claire's from Chicago. Let's see how much she doesn't know about Chicago.
Yeah, take that. This is that gotcha podcasting you've heard of.
That's exactly right. I expected this from you, bro.
This is what See, this is why Savannah gets nervous, because I just wing it. I don't even know where we're going. And that's been the show.
But that's also the message of life. Who really knows where they're going?
You know what? I've had suspicions that I'm not alone here. Man, so you've got to be pretty excited for Celebration coming to your neighborhood-ish.
I'm so excited. Oh my gosh. My wallet is happy. That's one huge thing.
Good point.
And there's so many things in Chicago that I love, showing people when they get to visit.
Mm-hmm.
And now, everybody's coming from all over the world that I care about. And I'm like, holy cow, you all get to have Italian beef sandwiches and Portillo's chocolate cake shake. Yes, let's do this.
What?
I'm so ready.
That sounds amazing. I don't even know what half that is. I heard shake and I heard beef, and I was like, okay, count me in. Man, so what is? Give me. What can I expect Talking about celebration, actually, now that we're on the subject.
Yeah.
Is it going to be cold? Everyone keeps telling me it's going to be cold.
Yes, it is going to be cold. Pack your winter coat.
I don't have one. I live in Florida.
No!
I know, that's what I
winter
said.
Coat.
Oh, God.
You are going to be chilly.
Oh, no. Oh, God.
Yes, it is not warm yet. It doesn't start getting warm around here usually till late May.
Oh,
And
God.
even then it's like I'm shivering, but it's a little warmer.
Oh, no, this
Chicago's
is terrible news.
Yeah, there probably won't be snow. We'll probably be done with snow by then. Knock on wood. I
Probably.
need to find some wood. Sometimes we get weird late snow showers and it's terrible and we all want to die.
Oh, no. Oh,
But-
no. This is horrible news. Last time I saw snow was 10 years ago, maybe?
Oh my gosh.
You know, snow's cold, Claire.
It is.
And that's-
Florida's not.
No, it is not. I will say that my blood has thinned since moving down here, and I'm slightly ashamed because when it gets like 60, I'm like, good, hoodie time. Can't do this anymore.
No. You're so in trouble.
Oh, God, no. This is bad. Let's see, the last time I was cold.
The last time I was
Let's see, when was the last time I was cold? The AC was a little low the other day. No, it was maybe 6 years ago. My younger brother graduated from basic training, and that was in Georgia, and it was like 39, I believe, and I was like, Mother of God, I'm dying, we need to get inside. And it didn't snow, thank God, because snow's pretty in pictures, but you can have it. I'm good.
Yeah, I probably should move away because after the first snowfall, I'm like, and I'm sick of this.
Yeah.
I don't want to do this anymore. And then I have to put up with it for another 3-4 months.
Oh,
Just been like, I'm cold and my feet are chilly and all my socks are wet and I just want to go home.
It's great in theory.
Yeah, and it's like, and by that point, it's like brown and like it's not even pretty anymore. It's like slushy, dark nastiness, and you're like, well, this is my life now.
It's also wet. That's the thing people don't think about. You're like, it's cold. Yes, it is also wet.
It's also wet. Yes.
You know, you will soak through your clothes if you are not careful.
Have fun.
No thanks. No thanks. In North Carolina, it snowed, but only for like a few inches. You know, on like a bad time. It never snowed a lot because it's right on the water. So kind of just the wind keeps going and whatnot. But it was just like dirty, just mud snow everywhere and ice.
It's nasty. It just
Nope.
can be gross.
Yes.
Snow isn't all it's chalked up to be.
Nope. So, God, it's gonna be cold. Oh man.
I'm sorry.
Oh well. Hey, I have jackets that I can't wear because I live in Florida, so that'll be exciting.
Hey, there you go. You can like break out a little fashion show every day. Wear a different jacket that you can't wear in Florida.
Done.
It'd be good.
Done. I've got like some weird ones. You're like, why is it
Weird one.
like I don't know. I don't know where I was going with that. I've got a bright orange hoodie that I'm pretty excited about that I used to wear all the time just because. Yeah, I'm just spoiled. I'm not gonna lie to you. Having been in Florida, not dealing with cold, but also when I lived in North Carolina, I got bronchitis every year, and that was another reason why the cold is not my friend. So moving to Florida, I was like, all right, cool. Humidity is still terrible, but it's not snow.
Absolutely.
It's not snow.
I am a curly-haired individual,
Mhm.
and in general,
Humidity
my
is
hair
your
is
friend.
frizzy. Oh, no. I'm so excited that it's starting to get cold here because the humidity has dropped, and I'm like, I can wear my hair down. I'm so happy. I don't look like I've been electrocuted, or I look like I've only been mildly electrocuted, like when you
And that's
pull,
a thing.
the plug out of the wall and it zaps you a bit, like only that much.
Yeah,
Not
perfect.
full on lightning bolt. I'm so excited.
That's a look you can work with. Slightly electrocuted.
Yes, exactly. It's my aesthetic.
Yeah. So when you were in Celebration previously, the last one, I was going to say last year, but it wasn't last. Was it last year? It was last year. It was not. I'm terrible with time.
Technically by the calendar, yes,
Yes.
but it was 2 Aprils ago.
Okay, yeah, whatever that means. So when you're in Florida, were you like, oh dear God, was that your first time in Florida?
No, I've been down a couple times.
Mhm.
My grandparents have a condo
Oh,
down
right
in
on.
Fort Myers.
Oh, that
Just
is literally like a half hour north of me.
Dude, if I ever go down to visit my grandparents, we gotta hang out.
Absolutely. Yeah, I live in
Oh my
Naples.
lord.
So I'm like,
Oh yeah, that's very close.
yeah, that's crazy.
Oh
You know what, Fort
yeah.
Myers? Anytime anyone knows where anything is near me, I'm like, oh, hey. Because it's always, Orlando, Miami, Tampa. Anything
Yes.
outside of those three, it's like, doesn't exist. So that's crazy.
It's like Disney, then the rest of Florida. We don't
Exactly,
really-
yeah.
And then alligators. That's about it.
I just saw an alligator yesterday.
Did you really?
Yeah, I was. I was driving to get some gas, and it was like along the canal. And we were like, oh, look. Yeah, they
That's
really are everywhere.
That's insane to me that just
Yeah.
alligators are just, it's not like you're one of the most successful predators. You've lasted this long.
Well,
That's
now they're
fine.
being overrun by pythons, which is scarier.
What?
Oh, yeah. Do you know about this?
No?
Dude, okay. Get ready for nightmares. Strap it in.
Oh,
So,
I'm actually going to Florida very soon, and I'm scared now.
Dude.
You're going to give me nightmares.
okay, well, here we go. You prepared me for the cold. I'm going to prepare you for pythons. So, apparently, I would say within the last, I don't know, maybe 15, 20 years or so, there were people that would buy these pythons, and then they would get too big, so they just let them go into the Everglades, which is, one, they have no predators there, and two, they have an unlimited food supply. So there are so many pythons out there in the Everglades now that they're, like, overtaking the ecosystem in the sense that, like, they can eat everything, and no one can find them. That's the hardest part. So
What?
dude, they like two years ago, I don't remember if it was the Florida government, somebody in government hired these 3 guys from like India that are like professional like snake finders, and they only found like 20 of them.
No!
They're like, we can't find them. I don't know, because you'd be going through the swamp and whatnot, and it could go by you and you just wouldn't see it. It's terrifying. I'm afraid of very few things in life. Snakes is one of them. So yeah, get ready for that.
Oh, great.
I can say though I've never seen a python in the wild. Thank God, because I would just, if a giant python's coming toward me, I'm just gonna shoot myself. It's not gonna get
right.
me.
It's over. It's
Yeah,
over for
forget about it. I know it's plans. Ain't gonna happen.
The reason you haven't seen them is because they don't want to be seen, Brian.
Oh my God, tell me about it. I think about it way too much. Oh, snakes are the
That's
worst.
horrifying.
I can't
Snakes
do
are
it.
terrifying.
Okay, thank you. I can't do it. So, yeah, not a fan. They kill you in 2 ways. A, squeeze the life out of you, or B, attack your nervous system with venom. Hard pass on both of those. No thanks. But I will say, I maybe because I grew up here, I'm not afraid of alligators. Is that strange?
That's crazy to me.
Yeah.
Because those guys will take you down and you have no chance.
Yeah, I know.
Chomps down on your arm. You're like, yeah, there's no way anybody could pry those jaws open. You're done.
Exactly.
You're done, son.
I think the idea, knowing that you can hold their mouth shut with your hands, takes all the fear out of it for me. Like you could,
Really?
all of their power is in closing. They have a really hard time opening their jaws, but once they get you, it's game over. They have like 2,000 pounds of pressure, and what they do is they grab and then they spin. They do like a death roll, so they could just pull your arm out of your socket. But
Jesus.
you can hold a gator's mouth closed with your hands, and that's why they have like electrical tape that they close their mouths with when they gotta transport them and whatnot. So I don't know. Just knowing that, I'm like, I could keep your mouth closed, theoretically. I am no longer afraid of you, dinosaur. So, granted, I'm not going to go swimming with them anytime soon, but
Yeah, no way.
yeah, we have pythons now, so, just be aware. But they're like
wait.
in there. They're like reservation, like actual Everglades crazy stuff. But they're like, I remember a long time ago, maybe, probably 10, 15 years now about, there was an alligator and a python got into a fight. You can actually Google it. Do like alligator, python, whatever. And the python constricted the alligator, right? Knocked it out, started eating it, and then got halfway through, and the alligator woke up and like busted out of the python. So it's like they both ended up dying because the python, like essentially the tube that it was in, that was previously a python, choked it out and killed it. Things are pretty gnarly here now that I'm describing it. Never thought about it.
I have to watch this video.
Oh, it's a weird thing. It was all over the news.
As somebody who has had several glasses of wine and then watched probably several hours of snake and mongoose fighting,
Oh,
that
nice.
that sounds right up my alley.
There you go. Dude, mongoose, the heroes of the world. That's
They're so cute
dude,
and so tough.
Cobras are the most terrifying thing I can think of.
Oh,
I think
God.
about that a lot. I'm like, it's a snake that literally stands up and is like, do something. I was like, I'm going to shoot myself. That's what I'm going to do. You ain't getting me.
It
Nope.
says do something.
It does. It's a snake that stands up and then it fans out and it goes, check this out. And I'm like, I don't want to. So
If we spoke parcel tongue, it would be saying, come at me, bro.
it would. Or it would just, or it'd just look at me and be like, yeah. And I go, no. And I'd just leave. There wouldn't be trash talk because I'd be too busy crying. Ain't gonna do it. Yeah, just please don't. Yeah, nope. That's another reason I was traumatized when Snape died. Spoiler alert. And oh man.
How dare you spoil it?
Oh, I know. You know what? It's on you.
At this point, yeah, it's on you, gang.
Yeah, man. Yeah, nope. Don't like snakes. Don't like snakes at all. You know what I do like? Celebration.
You like Celebration as well. Celebration is always good.
Yeah. So how many celebrations have you been to?
So actually, last Orlando was my first celebration. I
Oh,
never...
Nice.
Yeah, it was crazy. Also, I didn't really know anybody when I went down.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I knew very few people, and people knew of me, but I wasn't super involved in the Star Wars community. I more
Sure.
like lurked on the outside and was like in the Facebook groups and like liked things that I was like, I don't know. I don't know how to like interact with people yet, and I'm awkward, and it's fine.
Same.
And then after Celebration, that's what really got me into like talking to people and interacting and doing the podcast. And
Really? It was all
that
Celebration that kicked it all off.
definitely, it's like I wanted to do a podcast for a really long time,
Mm-hmm.
but I didn't want to do it by myself, and I didn't.
Fair.
Yeah, it's a lot of work to do everything,
Oh,
isn't it, Brian?
Oh my God. If people only knew how much footwork goes into a single episode. Just booking someone. Oh, dear God.
Definitely.
I mean, I had to go through your agent and your manager, which is crazy. That's just how things are.
And they tend to not agree and like not talk about my scheduling conflicts. So
Oh,
I know it
goodness.
just makes things worse.
I mean, your manager's way nicer. But your
Oh,
agent,
definitely.
I'm not going to say anything bad on the air because they're probably listening, but you know.
And that's how Claire and Brian never talked again in
Exactly.
any sort of podcast format.
That's right. This episode's not going to be released. It's going to be a cease and desist mailed to me
Absolutely.
because they're extra spiteful. These fictitious people.
Exactly.
Because we met at Celebration last year. I think
We
that was the first
did.
time. Yeah.
That was the first time we met.
Yeah,
And
that was fun.
That was an interesting time.
Yeah. It was
I guess we should probably go into the story since we brought up. We're like, yeah, well, I guess.
So I've told the story, I believe, on here about how we were hanging out with the Lucasfilm Star Wars show peeps, and then we went to the 501st Bash, and my conscience hindered me from extra fun, because
You're too bad. You're a good person. You should like work on that, man.
I know. You know what? I should have read the room. You know,
Right.
Because I remember I had tickets to the bash, so I had the wristband, right? And I was hanging out with everybody, and then Anthony Carboni was like, "Hey, you want to go over here?" I was like, "Yeah, sure, that'd be great." And so I'm hanging out with all these people. It's like Daniel Kennedy, John Schwartz was there, name drop. People that I didn't really know, but for some reason was like, "Hey, come hang out." And I was like, "All right, cool." And so we go around, and then Scott Will, who was the head of the 501st Bash guy, the organizer, was like, "Oh, the Lucasfilm peeps," and gave everyone wristbands. And I was like, "Oh, dude, I'm good. I got one already." So I was, all right, cool. And then we go to this place, and then we're going through, and it gets to the VIP section, and everyone's like, all right, cool. And then it gets to me, and my wristband was a different color.
Oh,
So I didn't get to
it
go
broke my
through.
heart.
Yeah. So I remember you were on one side of the rope, and I was on the other. We were just kind of hanging out and be like, this is cool.
Yeah, it was so bad. I was like, oh, darn it. I like him so much. He's so nice. And then I had like all by myself, like playing through my head as I was like, so close, yet so far away.
I was like, it still counts. You can hear me, kind of.
That's right. I can yell loud, I swear.
That's right. So I just
Oh.
remember that, and then I remember. So I'm a very blunt individual. That's just how I am, and so I've always believed in being forthcoming, and so I have a distinct memory of drinking quite a bit, which was fun. And then I remember waiting by the rope and just kind of hanging out. And then I remember being like, I like you. You're pretty cool. And that was it.
I do remember that happening.
Yeah.
I was not too far gone at that point. That was a dangerous. Well, it was another one of those things because I was with Tyler at the time, and we were. He was doing a lot of networking, which is fair because we were in with all these people that. Yes, networking celebration because of all this StarWars.com stuff. He's like, oh, I know these people. I interact with these people. I've never met these people. I'm like, yeah, go on. And then I'm awkwardly in the corner like, I'm a little fan looking at the Boba Fett R2 unit, and I'm just going to get drunk, and I don't really know anybody, but I'm going to have fun.
There you go. Just Twi'leks hanging from the ceiling. It's a crazy party.
But on the bright, oh my God, that was crazy, right? So with the ceiling ribbon dancer people.
Yeah, whatever that was.
Wow. It happened.
It did.
I could say that I've seen that with my own two eyes, which is pretty neat.
Agreed.
I also shared a drink with Pablo Hidalgo, which was pretty neat at that party.
My hero.
He was having a good time. He really was.
Hell yeah.
As were we. So it was like, cheers, Pablo. Yes.
Yeah.
And it was that was fun. But it was a very weird experience. And then I think another of my favorite stories from that night too was that Richard Wolosky from Skywalking Through Neverland. I think that's when I had met him previously at the Carrie Fisher Memorial Gala thing.
Oh.
But Richard Wolosky stole my phone and texted my mom. And of course it was so late, and so it was like midnight. And my mom gets these texts like, Claire's like, oh my God, Claire's going to get in trouble. Claire's going to get arrested. I was like, oh no. And then he was like joking, like, and I was, a little buzzed at this point. I was like, what's happening? And, he told me that he called my mom, and he and my mom had a conversation and that she was not happy.
Oh no.
Which of course he did not call her, but he messed with me so bad. And there's this really fantastic photo of like Richard like cheesing like a champion next to me, and I have this look on my face like, okay, this is funny now, but I'm gonna kill you. And it was so good. Somebody captured that moment on film, and it's just so funny.
Oh, that's great.
Of course, I had to straighten that out with my mom. Like, no, I'm fine. That was just Richard.
That's right. I've been bailed out already. Don't worry. It's cool.
It's all good.
Yeah. It's better than we have your daughter. So that's
right.
Good.
It was a misdemeanor, not a felony. I'm
exactly.
fine.
That's the key. It's a very clear distinction after you're 18. That record sticks.
Stays with you.
That's amazing. So speaking of drinking and whatnot, because I'm a fan, you're a bartender.
I do bartend. I do on occasion. I don't know why I'm saying it like that, but yeah.
I have been known to tend bar from time to time.
I have been. Yes.
Was that? Wait, how did this come about? How does one become a bartender?
That's a very good question because
Thank
the way
you.
that I've you're welcome. The way that I have figured it out is that a lot of people end up stumbling into it.
Sure.
So I started hosting at a restaurant just for a little money, and as one does, get a job for a little money.
Yeah, right on.
So I was hosting, and then for some weird reason, they had really liked me. And after a good long chunk of time with me hosting, they were like, "Hey, do you want to train to like serve? Because if somebody like gets sick or something, we can just have, instead of you hosting, you can just go pick up a few tables and help out." I'm like, "Yeah, absolutely." And then for some reason, I still didn't blow it, and they liked me. And then they promoted me to bartending because we had some bartenders leave, and the place where I work has a 50-foot outdoor bar with live music every night.
Oh, the best.
It's chaos, I'll say that much. But yeah, when the weather is nice, obviously that's going to be open, and when summer and summertime comes around, they need more people, believe it or not, because 2 people cannot man an indoor and outdoor bar, especially a 50-foot one. So yeah, and then I've just been there ever since. Been making drinks and
Really?
dealing with some drunk people from time
the
to
best.
time. Oh yeah. You see some things.
Oh,
in the
yes.
bar.
I grew up I grew up in a really bad neighborhood right across the street from a bar. So every Friday we would just watch people get arrested, and that was like our entertainment for the weekend. Bars are fun places, man. For the wrong reasons, they're fun.
Absolutely. You get so many like weird people that'll come in.
Mhm.
We have nicknames for like the bar creeps. We do.
Love it.
There's one, the weirdest one though, is there's a guy who, yeah, he hasn't been in a few weeks, but he always comes on Saturday night super late, and he doesn't drink any alcohol. He drinks pineapple juice, and he's really weird.
He is a psychopath.
Yeah, and he stays until I leave, which is the scariest part. It's
Ew.
like, yeah.
Oh no.
Yeah, he's always the last person to pay out, and then when I leave, he leaves, and I get walked to my car, and life is fine. But like,
Oh God.
we call him Pineapple Juice.
Oh, that's a good name. Why do you call him that?
Yeah, believe it or not, he drinks pineapple juice.
Oh, that makes sense.
Yes. They're like, oh God, pineapple juice is coming in. Dang it. Oh, it's very strange. But
so
it's
weird.
fine. You see I've seen a lot of people get together.
Oh,
And I've
nice.
seen a lot of people break up. And I've seen some very heated arguments, and it's been lovely. It really has.
Good
Some fine
stories.
people watching.
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh yeah,
Really
the best kind of people watching. Bars and airports.
Oh my Lord.
Dude. So you just you winged it and just figured it out? You didn't take like any classes? Because I know there's bartending classes, I think. I said I know and then I think. So I lost confidence in the sentence.
No worries. But yeah, you can take mixology classes. I've never taken any of those.
Wow.
I'm just naturally talented.
Yes, of course.
I can't even finish that sentence.
You're like, I took potion making, but that's about it.
I mean, that's a set. Oh, you know what? That's how I'm gonna view myself when I go to work next to me, like making some potions, some mind-altering potions.
Yes,
indeed.
That's what I've always been fascinated by bartenders, because they're real life potion makers. Like, what do you want to feel? Hold on a second.
What do you want to feel?
Boom.
Well, it's so true. So many people react differently to different kinds of alcohol. You know,
oh,
there's
yes.
like tequila drunk and wine drunk and beer drunk are very different drunks. So
That's right.
Right.
One of them always get arrested. That's just how it goes. You know?
So good.
Yeah, I hear you. I don't have a drinking problem. I'm just saying that there's consequences to having a good time sometimes.
Definitely.
Yeah. No, that's cool though. I feel like I would have a hard time with it. My memory is of that of an Alzheimer's patient, so I don't know if drinks would stick. Do you ever wing it? Do they ever order something and you're like, I don't know what that is, but it's probably this?
I have definitely done that. 100% I have done that. But if you do that, you have to like, it's never like, I have no idea where to even start with this. It was like, oh, this is blah, 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 blah. Somebody wants a blah, blah, blah. I'm like, oh, I know that's a gin drink. And I think you put a lemon on it.
We need some fruit in here.
Like, throw some stuff in there. It's fine.
And then they'll get it and be like, it
usually
looks different. I like it.
Right? But yeah, you got to make sure that person, though, is like already, feeling something when you do that, though. Otherwise, they'll be like, this is not what I ordered. I'm like, no, sorry. Usually they don't care after a certain point. They're like, oh, yeah, booze. Booze in my mouth.
This counts. This counts. Yeah, another this. Whatever that is.
Whatever it was. Great. I don't even know what it was.
What's the weirdest drink you've ever made?
Oh, I'm trying to remember because there was something really strange someone asked for this summer. It was, I think they were trying to do like a Dr. Pepper, or like a root beer float drink, but without ice cream and without root beer because we don't have root beer. At our restaurant, we do not serve root beer. So they asked for root beer and like, what was it?
Booze.
It was root and rum chata.
Oh.
Rum chata.
Okay, I'm listening.
Yeah. And I was like, okay, in theory, that's not bad, but we have rum chata, but we don't have any root beer for you.
Yeah.
And then, and so they ordered, and then they added something weird to it. It was like a weird flavor of vodka to be putting with like a cream alcohol. And then they asked with Diet Pepsi, and I was like, this is
Ew.
odd looking, and your intentions were probably good, but this just looks bad. And then I tasted it, and I was like, oh, oh God.
Way worse than it looks.
Way worse. Yeah, but fun fact, if I have no idea what your drink tastes like, if it's weird, I will take a little straw and I will capture a little bit of it in the straw and I will taste it when you're not looking.
Good. I should hope so.
You, of course. I'm like, what the heck is this? Like, what have I done?
What have you created, this monster?
Seriously.
Oh man. So what do you have a drink of choice? You have to. You're a bartender.
You know, I'm kind of boring.
I like to generalize.
No worries. It's funny because a lot of the things I like to make, a lot of things I like to drink, I don't like to make as much, which is funny. I'm a bourbon.
Same.
I'm a bourbon person myself. Hey.
Yeah.
So I like an old fashioned. It's it's simple,
Wow.
but it's little stuff. I like old fashions.
It's pretty hardcore, Claire.
Well, you know me. Everybody knows how hardcore I am.
That's right. I did get that feeling from you. I did.
Yeah.
It makes a lot of things are making sense now.
Like, dang, we're stay away from her. Way too hardcore.
Yeah.
Said no one ever.
Yeah. Well, now says everyone.
That's right. Spread the word. Spread the word.
That's right. You get a bunch of drinks, and they're like, oh, this. And then it gets to you, you're like, I'll just have an old-fashioned. Neat. You're like, wow, all right. We got a badass over here.
You know me. I'm about as badass as I come.
That's right. As you do.
As I do.
Good choice.
But yeah, I'm pretty boring, too. Usually I'll just be like, I don't even want you to bother with the effort. You can just give me some whiskey on the rocks, and that's fine, too. And we sell a lot of wine at the restaurant, and it's made me really, really appreciate wine on a whole different level.
Oh.
So I do love a good glass of wine. It makes my soul very happy.
Do you like the bitter or the sweet?
I like the bitter. I'm a very bitter, I'm a bitter human being,
That's
know.
right,
I like it dry. I like it dry, and
You're like, I need something to match my personality.
Exactly.
I've got my old-fashioned.
I am old-fashioned, bitter, and dry.
There you go.
That's
yeah.
the adjectives to describe me.
When I think of Clare Stribling, that is things that come to mind. You know.
Yep.
I was like, I've
Exactly right.
I've kind of partied with her before, and that's just what I got from her. You know, just bitter, and more bitter, and then just really old-fashioned. I don't know what it was, but
Totally it.
you know, it is what it is. Yeah, my my wife is crazy into wine, and she likes the bitter stuff, and so she drinks it.
And you do not.
I do not. I don't really like wine. I don't. I just got turned on to whiskey sours. I've never had one before. Like before I got married in May. That's the first time. One of my groomsmen got one. I was like, "What is that?" And that's my thing now.
Yes.
I like them. Do you make? Yeah. I'm assuming you have to make whiskey sours. They're pretty common.
Yeah, every now and then I get to make a lot of those. No, you know what?
Okay,
the nice thing is our bar is kind of lazy.
Yeah, there you go.
And if you ask for a mojito, there is no way on this green earth I will give you one. I am not. It uses way too many limes and way too much mint. And yeah, and we don't make any drinks with like egg whites or anything like that, which makes me happy too. I'll do that at home every now and then. I've made like butter beer, alcoholic butter beer with like egg whites and butterscotch schnapps and cream soda and something else. I can't remember what it was, but
wow,
that's good stuff, man. That's really good stuff.
I'm real cheap, so I'm like, how do I get the giant bottle of $5 mix, and then some Jim Beam, and let's make some magic here.
Yes,
because those are my stand. I'm from North Carolina. That's how we do. You know, you just
Absolutely.
go for it's what works. So
true.
Yeah, kind of my thing. So I've never had it with an egg. That's why I was wondering. Because if I'm talking to a bartender, I got to ask about the egg thing. I didn't even know egg whites were a thing in it until I was like, what kind of mix do I need? And they're like, mix, you heathen. You make it with this and this. And I was like, I'm not going to do that. just kept going.
Nah, no. You're not a heathen.
Yeah.
I'm all about the mix. It makes life so much easier.
It does. I even bought one of those like shaker things, and I was like, I'm going to pretend to be a bartender. This adds 10 minutes to the process, and I regret it, but I still do it.
But it makes it all foamy and delicious, though.
Yeah. I even got that little like two-sided shot glass spoon thing. I don't even know what it's called. It's got like a handle.
Two-sided shot glass.
Yeah.
Thing.
That's the proper name. I don't know what you call it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
The sad thing is I know exactly what you're talking about, but I also don't know the name for it.
Ha! Take that off the hook, because you do it for a living.
That's right.
Man, drinking's fun. I've listened to your shows. I absolutely love databank discussions because that's my kind of jam. Going deep dive into lore and stuff like that. And on a particular episode, if I'm remembering correctly, correct me if I'm wrong, there's a medical field kind of thing to you.
There is.
There
is a medical field kind of thing to me.
I like words. I talk in my way. Like I said, I don't know where it's going. When I start a sentence, we're along for the ride.
That's right. We'll end up somewhere. Who knows?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I am a licensed EMT for the state of Illinois.
What?
Which is
I didn't
very
know that.
exciting.
What?
Yeah. Which is lovely.
Right on. Hardcore.
So that's good stuff. I'm actually in the process of looking for a new job in that field because when the 50-foot bar closes, Claire needs to do some work,
That's right.
other places.
That's
Plus,
right.
it's part of my plan,
Your master plan?
my master plan. Yes, my master degree plan. Yes,
I support it.
Yes. But yeah, I do that, and then I'm also a phlebotomist. So I'm a vampire. I will draw your blood.
Yeah, that's so
draw your blood.
gross.
Which is really funny how often people actually call you a vampire when you're drawing their blood. I'm like, oh, I've never heard that
Really?
one. Totally.
Wow. I've never given blood because every time that it came up to it, I had just recently gotten a tattoo. And it was like, I was told, I don't know if it's true now, about to find out. When you get a tattoo, you can't give blood for a year after.
Yeah. That is what I have heard. I'm actually not allowed to give blood either. Or at least I can't give blood ever.
What?
For the rest of my life.
Which
is pretty
an
weird.
Alien.
I am an alien.
I knew
How
it.
did you know?
I know it. I know so many things after they're told to me.
Exactly.
Yeah. Really? That's crazy.
I lived in the UK in the early 90s.
What?
When I was really little. I know that's a very weird thing that my family we were briefly relocated to Stirling, Scotland.
Oh.
Because of my dad's job, which was
Sure.
all pretty cool and stuff.
Wow.
I mean, I was really little, so it wasn't that I still remember it, but I remember it probably because we've gone back to visit those people because we had just wonderful friends and neighbors over there.
Oh, it's so cool.
Yeah.
I've never
But
been to
because of
Scotland.
that, I can't give blood because apparently I have mad cow disease that's probably lying dormant and and there's no, yeah, which is just so crazy to me. And there's as far as I've seen, the last I checked, that there is no date where I am cleared to give blood in the United States. So
Wow.
here you go. I have mad cow.
That's
There you go.
okay. I'm here for you.
Thank you.
There's no expiration date on the mad cow disease. Is that what you're telling me?
No, apparently not.
Wow.
I guess it could lie dormant. So, I'm not out of the woods yet, apparently.
Man, so in a horror movie, you could theoretically infect everyone else's blood samples if you were an evil mastermind.
Oh, I totally could.
Is that
You know
what I'm
what? When
thinking
you said horror movie, that's not where my brain went. My brain went to Claire turns into the mad cow takes a hold of Claire's brain and she turns into this murderous cow monster.
While you're drawing blood, there has to be a witness.
Yes.
You know what I
Yes.
mean? It just triggers you. You're like, what is this? I cannot partake, and then you just start mooing. Yeah. You wouldn't have horns though. Those are only bulls.
No,
Can't
I
win
would
them
not.
all. Can't win them all.
Can't win them all. You know
Oh.
what? Some C-list horror studio would give me horns anyway.
That's true.
They would.
That's true, and they would give the bull an udder. I've
They
seen
would
barnyards.
give the bull number.
Oh man, that's great. I didn't know you're an EMT. That's some serious stuff, man.
Yeah, it's a good time. It's It's
That's a nice way to put
yeah.
it.
Well, just as a basic EMT, you
Mm-hmm.
don't really do all that much crazy stuff. You can
Mm-hmm.
work in a hospital or you can work on a private ambulance, or if you're in the fire academy, you can be a firefighter paramedic eventually one day. But yeah,
Ah,
it's a good time. It's a good time. You take a lot of vitals. You make sure people don't die.
that's important.
It's all right. So
Yeah.
if you keep over on me, usually, I'll be able to help you out. At least
Done.
until I can get you to a real doctor. I'll save you till then.
This sounds like a service you're offering next year, just in case.
Oh,
So,
no.
yeah,
Oh, God, because
look what
there's
you
going to be
did.
a lot of drunk people at Star Wars Celebration, and Claire's going to be the one
That's right.
taking care of everyone.
That's
Oh,
right.
dang it.
I'm interested in how the vitals are going to work when you also have been drinking. You're like,
Oh, my
it's
Lord.
it's a lot over what it should be. Let's carry on. Yeah, I always joke that. So my wife is a nurse, and I told her the second we got married, I was like, I'm never going to the doctors again. I'm just letting you know that now. If anything's shy of dying, you're in charge. Just keep me from dying. So if I'm not feeling well, she's got like a whole kit where she's got like a stethoscope and all this stuff, and I'm like, am I okay? Check me out. She's like, yeah, you're fine. I'm like, all right, cool. And then there are other times, so she's like, you're not fine. I was like, I'm fine. I'll just shut the door. And she's like, you're really not. And then that happens. So I did get, I went to the doctor's like last week, 2 weeks ago maybe, and we got to do one of those like breathing treatments, because I have asthma, which is really fun. And they let me keep the tube, which is really cool. So, fun fact.
Oh, like one of the ones where you blow into it and see how, like,
No, it's like
you're,
it's the same kind of mouthpiece, but they put like this medication in it, and it hooks up to this machine that basically turns it into vapor, and you just breathe it in for like 10 minutes.
Oh, they gave you your nebulizer?
That's the word. Nebulizer.
Yeah.
Yeah, they let me keep the mouthpiece in the tube.
Ooh, you got
So-
some fancy stuff.
I know. They almost gave me two, but my wife told them no. I was so excited. She's like, you can keep that. I was like, really? She goes, yeah. I'm like, all right, cool. She goes, do you need another one? I was like, oh. And then my wife goes, we don't even have the machine at home. She goes, oh. I was like, what are you doing? This free stuff.
Why are you ruining this?
Exactly. Yeah. Just let me have this. But she knows. She knows by now. We've been together almost 9 years. This January will be 9 years, so she's privy to my ridiculousness everywhere. It's awful.
She knows how to handle it by now.
Yeah, well, she knows to an extent.
To an extent.
I don't know if there's any real handling here. Doctors' offices are terrible. I'm always going through drawers. I was like, what is this? What does that do?
God.
It's awful. I'm like a child. As long as I don't touch the medical equipment. But yeah, so medical field's cool. EMTs are neat. That's very admirable. Was that something you wanted to do growing up, or you also fell into it?
It's one of those things for a long time. My undergrad is in biology. I wanted to be a high school science teacher for a long time, and then I got into got actually down to working with kids and in that environment. I'm like, I don't think I'd be very good at this. I think I would be very miserable.
Smart to know that now.
Thank you. Yeah, before you're completely screwed.
Yeah.
So, so right now at the moment, the plan, I want to be a physician's assistant eventually.
Oh, nice.
Which is good times.
Yeah.
I'm a total nerd. I do very well in school in general, but yeah, so part of the thing is they won't even look at any applications unless you have a bunch of hours of patient care experience. And that's what this jam is all about. I mean, like,
Aha.
look, I treated somebody once.
That's right. Yeah, I could take vitals and make a mean old fashioned.
That's right.
That's pretty much all you need. to my knowledge.
Exactly.
Terrible at stuff like that. You have to be smart to do those kinds of things. Like Monique is really, really smart, and she, funnily enough, worked at a cafe for a few years, and so she's making all these different drinks and all these different things. Was always really, really good in school, and then transferred to the medical field. I think it's got to be the way your brain is wired to handle those kinds of things. It's kind of cool. It's way more than I can do.
It's a weird thing because it's part of it is like very reactionary. Like you need to be able to you think on your toes. What am I? That's not a phrase.
I do my thinking on my toes.
Oh, do you? That's good.
It's like my thinking cap. I just prop up. It gives me like 2 inches higher, and I'm like, I can see things better.
Exactly.
Yeah, makes sense.
You just got to be able to react to situations and know. Well, first off, you got to be able to know your stuff, and then when things go down, you can't freeze up, which is another thing that's like hard to teach.
Right.
You know?
It's definitely
you just
a
have
calling.
to be ready.
For sure. I don't think the medical field is something that everyone can do. I think it's something that you have to like. Yeah, you got to have a calling for something like that. As tough as a job as it is, and as difficult as it can be. Like, I don't know. I'm glad there are people like yourself that are doing it, because everyone would die on my watch. Yep. Just a fact. Do not put me in charge. Ain't gonna unless you need some like C-level Star Wars trivia, or you need Monopoly or parking. I'm really good at parking. Outside of those three, forget about
Chicago.
it. Yeah. No, finding parking is a different skill.
Oh, that's right, finding it. But once you're there, man.
Oh man, I am in the lines every time. That is a balance guarantee. You need a car parked, I got you.
That is hilarious.
Yeah, no thanks.
You have a gift.
Yeah, exactly. That's my gift. the truly practical Star Wars trivia, Monopoly, and parking cars. Oh, the last one is a bit more useful than the other two. But so anyway, databank discussions, awesome.
Yeah.
How did you first? You said your interest in podcasting started outside from Celebration. So how did this come to be? How'd you end up on a show? And talk to me.
Well, let's see here. So when I was a young lass at Star Wars Celebration,
yes, of course.
Orlando.
Way back when.
Back in my Star Wars youth. No, that's a total lie. I've always been a Star Wars nerd. But but so one of the people that I hung out with a lot at Star Wars Celebration was Charlie Ashby.
Right on.
Who is a hilarious sass monster, and he and I got along very well. And so even past Celebration, we were buddies and would chat and stuff. And through Charlie, I got to know, I met Kristen at Celebration as well. Kristen Bates, another of my co-hosts. She's just awesome.
She is.
She's just hilarious. She's gonna rock. She just rocks your world.
She does. She's been on the show, and I laughed too hard.
No, she's hilarious.
She's amazing.
That's one of the dangers of recording with them, and Nikki too, because he's so funny. The problem is like most of the podcast is me like laughing off to the side of my microphone so that people can still hear the other people, because it's so funny. We went on like a solid like we derailed the last podcast we put out because of the wording of the press release, or the wording of when they released the solo bonus feature, because they said something like Han and Kira get wet in this deleted scene from Solo, and then after that the entire podcast fell apart. It was just like, wow, this is
here we go.
This is some moist podcasting over here. Like, wow, it's just so wet, and I'm just like, I can't do this. I can't.
I've seen the promos.
Oh yeah, Charlie and his friggin' Photoshop, and everything is moist now at the Imperial Senate podcast.
Ideally.
Moist. Yeah, apparently now we're moist for Mandalorians. So that's a thing.
I'm for it.
Look for the t-shirts on the TeePublic site.
That's right.
So you can be moist for Mandalorians too. But yeah, I just became pretty good friends with them after Celebration, and they originally Charlie threw it out because he wanted another voice on the show, and I was like, yeah, cool, that's great.
I have one of those.
And yeah, I speak sometimes.
That's right.
And then we had and then we were looking for some Patreon content, which is totally in the works still. But so Databank Discussions was originally on our Patreon, and then the obnoxiously insane amount of time and research and hair pulling that goes into an episode of Databank Discussions. We were like, maybe we should put this on the main feed and it'll mix things up on there. And so yeah, but I do put bonus. I'm going to be putting bonus content for each Databank Discussions on Patreon.
There you go.
Because when I always fall down like the Wikipedia wormhole, and I just keep going, and I'm like, oh, I'm completely off topic now, but this was very cool, and I have a lot of information on it now.
Yeah.
So probably my and my discussion tangents will be on Patreon. But yeah, so I just became buddies with them, and we have some pretty ridiculous banter, and so it worked out pretty great so far. I'm a fan. I'm a big nerd, and I like getting to talk to Star Wars, talk Star Wars with people. So
Same.
I don't get to do that so much in my day-to-day life, unless it's like, oh, Claire, did you see the Star Wars movie came out? Like by people who don't really know anything about Star Wars other than what they see on TV. But everyone's like, oh, yeah, what did you think?
Yeah, right.
But other than that, like, did you like the Star Wars? Yes, of course I liked the Star Wars. It was so good.
That's right. I am still a fan.
Yes. And then I go on and on and on, and then they're like, okay, you're a bit much. Let's
That's right. Yeah. I immediately regret my decision.
Right, like, and never talking to her about this again.
Yeah, right. Been there. Wikipedia, man. I'll find a character and be like, I'm going to learn everything there is to know about this character now. So
yes.
It's a way to go. It's a great idea.
Yes,
so,
they've fallen down that wormhole too many times.
It's a good place to be. So, who's your favorite Star Wars character?
Ooh, so this is a loaded question.
Good.
Do you mean like main fully fleshed out characters,
Nope.
or are we including all minor and background characters as well?
I'm including every character that's ever been in a Star Wars thing.
Great.
Yeah.
So my answer is Salacious B. Crumb.
Really?
He's my favorite. I love him so much. I don't know what it is. I know he creeps people out. I know people think he's annoying. But every time I see that little weirdo and I hear him laugh, I just start cracking up. I'm like, he's always having a good day, man.
He is.
He's always having a good day.
That's a good pick. Salacious Crumb's awesome.
He's great. I have a little plushie of him sitting next to me on my desk as I talk to you. He's helping me through, you know?
Yeah, well, that has been said about my show. You need a companion.
You need a companion.
You know, it's rough going. There's rough waters over here.
Oh, yeah, it's definitely very, very rough over here. Yeah. I'm having a terrible time.
Yeah. Have you met Mark Dodson yet?
No, I have not.
He's the best. He came to FloridaCon 2 years ago or something like that. And he still does laugh all the time if you ask him.
Oh.
And he's funny because he his autograph, he writes, what was it? It's like S. It says S. Crumb is what he writes. He writes S. Crumb and then Mark Dodson. I was like, oh, he goes, you want to know how I come up with that? I go, what? He goes, well, Salacious is a really long name. And I feel like if he was signing autographs, he would just write S. Crumb. I was like, I like it. I like it a lot.
Very official.
Yeah. That's a good one.
He's an intelligent guy, you know? I have a lot of feelings about him. He's, you know what? He's from Coac, and he got his way out of the swamps by going onto Jabba's barge, and he entertained him so much that he kept him and said that as long as you make me laugh once a day, I won't kill you and murder you. And he was like, sure, I'm up to a challenge. And then he just did it, and they became companions for I'm just saying, nobody is as close to Jabba as Salacious Crumb. Like, they snuggle.
That's true.
Snuggle every night, and they share every meal. That's adorable.
That is a scientific fact. It is almost impossible to get physically closer.
Right?
You know, I'm into it. Although I've heard there's a flea that takes credit for Salacious B. Crumb's top jokes. That's the rumor. That's the rumor around the barge, Claire.
Ugh. Okay, that is the least credible narrator I've ever heard in my entire life. When I was reading that, I was reading from a certain point of view, and lugubrious moat. Ugh, it puts a bad taste in my mouth even saying that terrible, terrible thing's name. But when I read that story, I threw my book across. This is wrong. This is from a very wrong point of view. I'm not okay with this.
Yep, I agree. There's a few of those out there. I always tell everyone, by and large, I was like, the new canon is great. There are some stinkers in there. I'm not going to call them out, but oh boy. Yeah. But then I also think about, a lot of the old EU is pretty terrible, too. Like, the Emperor cloning himself 1,000 times and body jumping. I was like, what is happening? What are we doing here?
That's the thing that Star Wars needed more of after Attack of the Clones. They needed more clones of everybody.
Yeah, just like a closet, and then when the one you're in is melting like a candle, you're like, oh, just hop into this one. Change my clothes real quick. It's like, oh, God, here we are.
Maybe if make, people who are very sad that the Legends stuff is no longer canon, maybe your headcanon could be every character in Star Wars cloned themselves and traveled to the unknown regions, and it's an alternate dimension. Everybody has an extra vowel in the middle of their name now.
Yeah, exactly.
You know?
Yeah. That's right. That's the rules. You know, it's oh my God, Luke's evil clone. All these things, all these things that were a thing at one point. God, have you seen anything about Star Wars Detours?
No.
Okay, I'm really excited about it. I know a lot of people are not. There's a really great bit about Salacious Crumb in that, and he's voiced by Seth Green. And there's a part when he's like, look it up on YouTube. It's like Star Wars Detours. It was an animated series that was going to happen, and then Lucas sold it, and then it got canceled. Anyway, so it's Salacious Crumb, and he's laughing, and then he gets a call on his cell phone, and then he picks it up, and he's like, "Oh, commercial audition, really?" And then he's like a working performer. It's pretty great.
Oh my God.
Yeah, you should definitely check that out.
I totally will, because it sounds like it's going to fill my cold, dead heart with so much joy.
Yeah, that old, bitter, shriveled heart of yours.
It's right. That's right. I am bitter and old-fashioned.
That's right. We've learned a whole lot here today.
That's right.
But that's a good pick. Salacious Crumb is a very good pick.
Oh, he's the best, man. He's so good.
He is. He is. I'm excited for more things you got going on, though. It's an exciting time to be a fan. Faux show.
My gosh, there's so much going on, and I need to sometimes I just need to take a step back and go and just breathe and just realize you are in a dream.
That's right.
If you spin the top from Inception, it'll fall. It'll be fine.
I have one of those.
Do you really?
I do have an actual exact replica, weighted and everything of that top and everything, and I'll be like, I hope the same rules apply here. What if it's the alternate reality in that when it falls over, that means it's not real?
Oh my gosh, why are you doing this?
This is where the brain goes, Claire. I'm
Lord.
just as surprised as you are. But can you believe we've been talking for over an hour already?
Have we really?
Exactly. That's what I like to hear.
Whoa,
yeah,
we have.
It's much better than yes, I've noticed. I'm like, cool. I'll talk to you later. But no, this was really cool. This was fun. I'm glad we can make it work.
Me too. It's about darn time.
I know. You know what? I was thinking about that when I asked you to come on. I was like, how did this not happen sooner? Because we interact all the time on the internets. And it's like, what is going on here? Yeah.
We're fools. That's what it is.
I know. A couple of boobs. The worst.
Whole bunch of them.
Yeah. I like calling people boobs. So, before I forget, where can people find you online?
Oh, yes. So you can listen to the Imperial Senate podcast, which is a raucous romp from time to time.
I like it. That's on the back of the DVD cover.
Thank you. It is. Although apparently there was recently a poll that nude calendar is going to be the Imperial Senate giveaway. So I guess
there you go.
Look for that.
Give the people what they want.
I guess so. Thanks, guys.
Yeah.
But also you can find me on Twitter and Instagram at CStribs, CSTRIBS. And yeah, I mostly hang on Twitter and talk about Star Wars and apparently playoff baseball right now, but life is good.
Yeah, sports
and stuff.
Sports and stuff. But this was really cool. I appreciate you taking the time. This was really fun.
Oh, I enjoyed my time. Thanks for inviting me on, man.
Of course. And you ever want to come back on? Doors open. That's how we do things here.
Oh, sounds good.
I like to say we as if it's a more than just me operation. I'm like, hey, it's been great. You stop by. We'd love to have you. And I'm like, I sound like a crazy person because it's just me
and my computer.
Yes, me, myself, and I. We're not the most diverse group, but it works. Yeah. So that's the thing. Anyway, this is cool. Until next time, and...
My cabbages!
Hello, friends. Thank you so much for listening to this episode of the Interesting Podcast. If you'd like to follow the show, it is at Pod of Interest on Twitter. If you'd like to follow me, I'm at Jedi Brian on all social media sites. If you enjoyed this episode, please share it. Tell your friends. Let them know we got some cool stuff going on over here. Also, I've finally broken down and made a Patreon. If you'd like to support the show, you now have that option over at patreon.com/JediBrian. On that note, special thanks to Chris, Ben, Jim, Daz, and Daryl. Your support means everything, and I cannot tell you how much I appreciate it. So until next time, be well.